So welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And today we are joined by Steve Jones from Blue Panther Games.
We refer to him as either Steve Blue or Steve Panther.
Both of which are extremely cool nicknames. You're welcome.
We think it's pretty cool. So
put that on the comments when you send orders to them. They love it. They can't get enough of it. So
as long as you give us the right address, you can call me whatever you like.
As long as the check clears. So we're here at Buckeye Game Fest, and we're very graciously sponsored by Blue Panther, so we're very grateful for that.
Thank you very much.
Oh. It's a big deal.
It's no problem.
And so I wanted to sit down and kind of have a chat about some of the things that are upcoming or things that are current and what we can look forward to from Blue Panther.
Okay. First off, can you tell us who you actually do publishing for? Because I know there's multiple companies under your banner.
Blue Panther, the current version of Blue Panther started around 2012. We started making games for an Australian company who wanted to get better traction in the United States. That company was called Shoots Games. Mm-hmm. And up until recently, they were still active. And now their games are still available to us, but they're not actively publishing anymore. Next client was, through Shoots, was White Dog Games. And as you know, White Dog has all the State of Siege games and a lot of solitaire and good, I guess you'd call it more traditional hex and counter games mostly. And they've been our customer for about 10 years now. White Dog published an early design from Amabel Holland. And they, after we started making that, Hollandspiel contacted us, so we started printing for Hollandspiel. So it's kind of been a word of mouth all along. Yeah. Hollandspiel is a customer. We've picked up more recently Catastrophe Games a couple of years ago. You're familiar with some of those titles?
Tim Densham.
Tim Densham and his crew.
Out of Michigan, I think
he lives. They're in Michigan. We also do games for the War Diary magazine now, which is I think they're in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. We do games for PKG, Paul Koenig games out of California. And we also do what you might call component work for a couple of other places, Grognard Games and a few other places where we do Kickstarters for some small publishers. But those are the main ones.
Okay. Yeah. But you guys also publish some of your own games.
Yeah, we used to publish more, I guess you could say, meeple-oriented Euro-style games 10 years ago. As the war games and the make-your-own games became more prominent, we actually stopped publishing for a while because the war games kept us really busy. Then we started, we were located originally in California, and then when we moved back to Tennessee, we've had the opportunity to get a little bit bigger in terms of printing equipment and capabilities, and all of a sudden we found we could actually publish again. So the first title was Struggle for New France by Bill Molyneux, which came out last fall, and the current title that we're publishing is Land and Freedom by new designer Alex Knight, which is a 1 to 3 player, truly semi-cooperative game, as we found out the other day.
Very semi-cooperative.
And our next upcoming game, which is by, I'm sorry, I forgot. Another one of our main customers is the Historical Game Company out of St. Louis.
Steve Kling, right?
Yeah, Steve Kling. And he's got about 30 some odd titles that basically cover the late 1700s. With an emphasis on the North American theater, but also other parts of the world.
So we've played Cahokia,
Fort Jefferson Attack game, and Battle of Cahokia game.
He has a game on Khartoum, a game on Port Arthur.
Siege of New Delhi, I think.
Yeah, Siege of New Delhi is the latest.
Looks really cool. Very excited for that one.
Yeah, and so the system covers a lot of it. It's the same system.
I think we have a Saratoga game we just haven't gotten.
Yeah, Battle of Saratoga. This is a game that was a joint publication of sorts, where he's a designer and we're taking a system that he's already introduced in his French and Indian War game, and we're updating it for 1776, the American Revolution. 2-player game, and it looks at both the Eastern and Western front of the American Revolution.
And it's called Road to Independence.
Road to Independence, yes.
American Revolution.
Correct.
So Nice looking box, and we saw the map, we saw the custom
Yeah,
dice,
it's
or at least prototypes.
lots of custom dice, and it should be out in the next 6 to 8 weeks,
Okay.
probably June. Yeah.
I still want to get with Steve and do one of our written interviews on the design process of that game. So I've got his email. I'll continue to reach out to him.
So outside of those two, what else do you have new that's either very current or coming real soon that you can talk about?
Well, on the Blue Panther front, we're doing a project with Herman Luttman, and it's
The
generating.
Herman Luttman.
Sorry, Grant. The Herman
Mr.
Luttman.
Herman Luttman. And he lives in Tennessee,
He
right?
lives close enough to come by for a barbecue lunch. That's
Nice.
That's right.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. It'll be a fantasy game with him, and we'll release
Fantasy
more
game.
details as they become clearer.
Yeah, yeah.
But you could probably look for that late summer. We have a pretty short development cycle.
Okay. Who's the developers on that one?
Ryan Heilman is the main developer. He's the same developer who worked on Land and Freedom and also the Road to Independence series. Yeah.
And Ryan Heilman designed, their first game was Brave Little Belgium.
Right. Ryan and
With Hollandspiel.
his partner Dave Shaw have a couple of credits with Hollandspiel, including Brave Little Belgium, White Eagle Defiant, and most recently Ginormopod. Yeah.
We have not gotten to that one yet, but yeah, Ryan's an interesting guy and has a lot of unique skills. So I think he's a dog goes out and gets it done. So pretty interesting.
I think some of the success is due to Land and Freedom, most recently, is the designer being willing to, hey, how can I make this work better with your model? And Ryan just, standing back and letting him do what he does.
Yeah, yeah.
And my understanding is that came to you reasonably well polished as far as game designs go.
It was, we were looking at a lot of games last summer, and this one was by far the most, just dust it
Ready to
off,
go.
clean it up, and ready to go. Yeah, we had to make minor changes, nothing.
So explain to us how that works. I think that's something I've always been interested in. Do you guys just sit around waiting for people to call your phone number?
Yeah, do you just get an email that say, hey,
Hey, I
please
got
see
a
my
game."
PDF attached, it's a board game, and you're like, is it?
Here's a PDF. Please make it. I need it tomorrow. Sometimes they come in that way, yes. But the process, I'm going to get slightly technical.
Okay.
But almost all the games produced today are made mass production. You need 5,000, 2,000, whatever it might be. And companies like GMT have a P500. Other companies use pre-orders so they can control their economics and know what's going to sell so they can buy the right amount. Our approach is what you might call print on demand. So we don't actually make these games, generally speaking, until there's an order for them. So the games will be developed completely ready to go. It's not like we don't put something else up unless it's complete, designed, done, and ready to go. But if somebody orders and says, for example, Hollandspiel will release a new game called Endurance. They don't take pre-orders. When they announce it, that means we're ready to make it. And they'll take orders on their side. They'll say, hey, Steve, we need to send one over here, one over there, and this distributor is ordering 20, and we take care of both the manufacturing, the printing, and the fulfillment. So when the game comes on the market, we might make 5, 10, 20 because that you want to be fast to get things to people. But generally speaking, when a game is put on an order sheet for us, by the time it gets to us, in a let's say a non-high, when it's not the holiday season where things get a little crazy, it's usually just a couple of days to turn it around and get it out the door.
So I have ordered several White Dog games, a couple from Hollandspiel over the years. Anywhere from 5 to 7 days, it's like on my doorstep. I live in Indianapolis, so it's
a day or two
Yeah,
mail from
so
Tennessee.
usually I send it in, the next day or two you've processed it, I get some kind of an email, and then 2-3 days later I've got my game.
Yeah,
So it's an interesting process.
It's the same way that places like Toyota build cars, or lots of manufacturers. We don't. You'll notice all our boxes look remarkably similar. There's a reason. We can get you a much better price
By using the same
by
box.
having the same box. So even
Yeah.
though we might not make 5,000 of game X, we have 5,000 boxes, and we get the same price as a larger run. But then we just put whatever the title is on it, and out it goes.
I want to see the machine that does the shrink wrap. That's what I want to see.
Oh, that's just a pizza oven. That's not the
Oh,
most
it's just-
impressive machine. No, that's just a.
Got it. Not that cool.
Well, it shrink wraps, and it's a pizza oven, so
Yeah,
it's
there you
good.
go.
But it's just like a pizza oven. Yeah.
Got it.
So the games, yes, the games that we have out here, and the games that we've got some on display here.
Yeah.
What is the one that excites you the most currently?
I've been extremely happy with the way Land and Freedom has gone for us, considering it was a designer who is new, and we haven't touched the water in 5 years or so. We've been very happy with the response it's gotten. Fall Blau was one of those games where I knew we were going to make it, didn't know much about it, and I sat down and read the rules and said, this is,
Pretty slick
you know,
little game.
this gets a lot done in a small package, so I'm pretty impressed with that.
So I played that for the Kickstarter campaign. I played it about
Yeah.
7 times. I think I won once. It's very challenging, and that's good. I like a challenge.
Well, I saw 1914 when I was a much younger man. I bought the original version, and then when I saw this come out, you know, one thing I remembered was putting it down because it's so long and it's so, you know, it just never seemed to finish. Then I set this up, and this plays a lot quicker. The rules are, you'll see the original game in it, but it plays a lot faster. So, War Diary and Mike Nagel did a good job cleaning this up, slimming it down a little bit, and adding a couple of rules to make it
Yeah.
flow a lot better, I think.
I know you publish a lot of games, but let the record also state that we got Steve to sit down and play a game, one of his games, and it was Land of Freedom, and we taught him how to play his own game, and he also won. So just putting that out there as well.
In my defense, they refreshed some of the rules for me, and also taught me some of the rules, because the last time I played a full game would have been about almost a year ago.
Got it.
Yeah.
But yes, I had
Oh, it's a great game.
we've played
There's
this
no
a few
doubt.
times now, and it's a really fun and a very
Yeah.
cool semi-cooperative
It's
game.
very different, and I like
Yes.
that, right? I think a lot of times we play games that are the same, they continue to, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
This one goes about it in a little different way. There's some bag drawing, there's some card play, there's some cooperation, but ultimately in the end, you win alone, but you all are going to lose together if you don't control the revolution or
The questions that this
fascist.
game raises as you're trying to cooperate to an extent is great.
Yeah.
It puts you into very tough choices.
It reminds me in a little bit of some of the election games that I've played in the
Yeah.
past. Numbskull had a game called 1912 and 1860 a few years back. And that's the only people were saying, where's the bag of glory idea? I said, I don't know, but I have seen it in one place before. And you have the idea of drawing to see who wins. And I just like that. Given the subject, that I think it's a perfect
Yeah.
solution to the historic, what happened, and a good way to resolve things. Some of over the years, what's been interesting is the ability to work with customers too. They might have some idea, and they might say, well, what can you do? And then we go, well, what could we do? You might have heard the story about Hollandspiel and Siege of Mantua,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
starts with Mark Herman,
Yes.
follows through to Turtles and Rabbits in a kiddie game that Hollandspiel has published and had some leftover parts from, and
a
said,
lot of oversized.
how are we gonna?
lots.
What are we gonna? What are we gonna do with these parts? And a lot of innovation on Amabel's part to turn it into their first block game, possibly their only, but right now first, and we have hopes of another. And then we were able to help them out by being able to print right on the blocks. So.
Yeah, you screen
Yeah.
printed
Yeah,
right
and,
on it.
and it's a great
Yeah.
looking game because of
Yeah,
that too.
one of my pet, when I first bought Command in Colors, Ancients, I think it was, and I opened the game to play it, and there were 400 and something
Stickers.
and getting them all straight. You look
Yeah.
at 2 hours later, you go, that doesn't look very good.
Oh, yeah.
So
We have to put them with the
Right.
grain, right, Alexander?
Yeah, I can
Grain
I
of
can
the wood.
basically do one army in one night, and it takes me like three
Yeah.
hours, and I'm like, I can't look at a stick in
So
front
we,
of me 2 days.
we just like they've also been able to take advantage on an upcoming game of theirs, Kaiju Table Battles. We'll be doing some 3D monsters and some 3D buildings.
Destructible 3D buildings, right?
Well,
Well, you can destroy them if you want, but
we'll send you more. Yeah, we'll send you more. There'll be, who knows? There may be.
and table battles is just one of those really slick, fast playing, interesting, and really unique games.
It's really good.
We've played everything from Ancients to American Revolution to trying to think of some of the other
all sorts, like
amazing.
yeah.
And now we're going to table battles, kaiju, right? Kaiju battles. That sounds
the
great.
phrase may be overused, but it is a game changer as far as creating its own little genre. The only thing that's like it is pub battles, really.
Yeah.
Table battles is 15 to 20 minutes of real decision making, nail biting. Do I have initiative or not?
Mm-hmm.
Now sometimes you're limited by the historical scenario.
Yeah. So,
To win, if you're Alexander, you have to crush them, and if you only beat them, you lose.
Yeah.
But then they took the idea to dinosaur table battles, which is actually one of my favorite in the series
Yeah,
because
we love that too.
you can draft your own.
Yeah.
You can actually do. It sounds funny, but it's a kids game. We sell to a lot of grandparents that want to, introduce to
Okay.
their kids, and we also. It's actually a combined arms game. You can do land, air, and sea dinosaurs. So
Very
it's.
true.
I don't think it's ever been published in a review, but I've actually used combined arms in that to
Okay.
some pretty good results.
Yeah.
And now kaiju is just the next step, and it's
Yeah. We definitely loved dinosaur table
Dinosaur was
battles,
fun.
regular
Yeah.
table battles.
Yeah.
Great system. Great system.
There's room in the model that we have for regular games, quote unquote, a hex encounter or a game with that has point to point movement like this, or a game that has area control like this is a new one from
It's a really good
White
one, too.
Dog called Mogadishu, which looks at the situation in Somalia in 1993.
It's basically Black Hawk Down, the board game.
Yes.
In essence. And I know
And-
because I played it 2 or 3 times this past weekend. It was amazing.
That's another game
it's
that
not called that for legal reasons. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
it's been a very good seller for them. It just came out maybe a month ago or so. It's been doing very well. And the other thing about this model that we have, I guess, compared to, and rightly so, if you're a big game publisher, are you gonna touch a subject about everybody could die? Like Endurance is about the Shackleton expedition to Antarctica, and by having this model, you know that you only have to make a certain amount in order to be solvent and make your money back. And so you can go after topics, and Hollandspiel is, although Catastrophe is racking up a number of interesting topics too off the main street.
Zermatt is fantastic.
But I'd say the best example is Hollandspiel. You look at their history of games, and perhaps half of them are quote unquote traditional. And there's a game here about endurance. There's a game about the civil rights, about the vote for civil liberties for women. There's a game about surviving a catastrophic head injury.
Heading forward,
Yeah,
right?
heading forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I played that.
So-
that was also very interesting.
Nicaea,
So-
which is the Council of Nicaea.
Nicaea, which is more of a political game about which books of the Bible become canon and which don't. Yeah. So the number of topics you can approach is and also same is true for less. You take a look at the Historical Game Company. There's a game called the Battle of Oriamendi. I admit I had to look up where that was.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
So in
one of
that
the great
sense,
things about
yeah.
wargaming is we always learn something.
Yeah, discovering
new about
something new.
So I like the variation that simply comes with the job, and there are requests that come in. Of course, I have this game that's better than this game that's been out for 30 years. It's just like this game from that big company, I said, great, you should give them a call and see if they'd like to do it. We can't really,
Yeah.
that's not something you want to do. But by and large, there's lots of ideas, lots of prototypes, a lot of Kickstarter add-ons and things like that. And from a risk management perspective, if you're a publisher and you want to do something, and you have quotes that say you're going to get $2,500 from overseas, and it's a great price, better than any price you could get in North America, you have to buy all $2,500 and sell them and
make your
ship
money.
them and get them here. If your Kickstarter is a great success and sells 800, which is a good Kickstarter for war games nowadays, you had a great price, but it's triple the price now. Now, I don't think, you do the numbers, but we'll only make the 800 if you want.
Got it.
So from the point of view of risk matching reward, you can line them up a little better with our model. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate everything that Blue Panther does. We have played an awful lot of games that have come through your printers. And there is always, like you said, there's always something new and interesting and exciting. If it's not a new topic, it's new and interesting mechanics in a topic we do know.
Yeah.
And I just think that's a huge credit to everyone. So we appreciate you sitting down with us and taking some time to take us through what you do and what's coming from Blue Panther in the future.
There are new games. It's hard to. I would estimate this year that we're probably looking at about 4 or 5 new releases a month between us and all our
Partners, yeah.
And
it's
they
easy
can't
to see
get
about
enough of
50,
Yeah.
50 games or so.
Well, I know White Dog has at least 2 that I'm
He's got
aware
another
of
3 or
that
4 that are very close.
I want to do the one that's on the Nile, and there's another one about pirates, and very excited about all of them. So
Yes, thank you very much for sitting down with us. And thank you very much for sponsoring us to be here as well. We appreciate that very much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I've been Alexander for theplayersaid.com.
and I'm Grant.